welcome to my channel Klaw Studios. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do these really cute and simple polygel press-ons. Just a real simple vibe, nothing too overcomplicated. These are the materials that I went in with, and then these are the products that I ended up going in with. Feel free to go ahead and screenshot if you want to. So jumping right in, I'll be using these magnetic press-on stands as my base, and then I'll also be going in with this Loctite mounting putty, and I'm using this to adhere the nail tips to the base of these nail stands. And when you're choosing a mounting putty to use, you want to make sure you choose something that's durable, non-sticky, and firm, just to give those nails a strong foundation throughout the entire process of the nails. And for my nail tips, I'm going in with these square short nail tips that I got on Amazon. I will link them below. I love these so much because they have the edge surface already. I just went right in, sized my own nails out, and then put them on my bases. And once you get all your nails properly adhered to the base, you want to go in and start buffing your surface and basically removing all the shine. And for this part, feel free to use anything like a nail file, a e-file. You do not have to use a buffer block if you don't want to. I just like to use it because it's easier for me personally. The purpose of this step is to just remove that shine from those nails so that when you go in with that base coat in that polygel, the product has that etched surface to adhere to and you're not dealing with peeling of any sort. Okay, now the process I'll be showing you guys for polygel is pretty simple. I like to break it down into 5 different categories, which is your base or your nail stand prep, your nail prep, your polygel application, shaping, and then nail art if you decide to do so. For the nail stand prep, it's pretty much just getting your nail tips adhered to those bases. And then nail prep will pretty much just be removing the shine from these nails and then shaping them if you want. And the last step of the nail prep will be to clean the nails off and then put base coat on them to prepare for the polygel. And for the polygel portion, you're just applying your beads of polygel, wetting your brush with your slip solution, and then sculpting your beads to the proper shape. Once you finish removing the shine from each nail, you want to go in and remove the dust and debris from every nail. And since I am using this magnetic stand, I do have to be extremely light-handed with the entire process. Otherwise, these nails will be everywhere. Once you have a nice clean foundation, you're ready to go in with your base coat. For these, I just went in with this base coat that I got from one of my gel kits on Amazon. And for this part, you just want to go in and apply the base coat to the entire nail on each of the nails. And this part is pretty self-explanatory, so I'll just let you guys watch this process more so. But I do just want to say I do appreciate each and every one of you guys so much, more than I can even explain. Y'all have been showing me so much love, and for that I appreciate every ounce of your being. Like, I appreciate you for being here watching. I appreciate you for supporting my videos. If you're a subscriber, I appreciate you for that, and I love you. Like, I just want to say that because y'all don't understand how much this fills me up to be able to come here and to provide these videos for y'all, to just come here and show up. I appreciate you guys 100% and love you guys. But anyways, back to this set. So for this set today, I'm just going to be showing you guys how to do a basic application for polygel press-ons, because I know a lot of people wonder what the process is. I've had a lot of people ask me how different the process is from acrylic, and I'm just going to be showing you guys that today. Once you finally complete the process of getting the base coat on each nail, you want to go in and put it in that nail lamp. I personally like to put it in for 60 seconds. And while those nails are curing, let's prep for our polygel. To start, you want to make sure you have your slip solution and, of course, your polygel brush. For slip solution, I just like to go in with 90% alcohol. You can use alcohol or you can use the slip solution that is made for polygel. I personally like to use alcohol because it's way more accessible for me and it's cheaper, and I also feel like it works better personally. So for this set, I am going in with Makartt. I'm going in with this nude polygel in the color Cake. And as you guys seen in the clip previous to this, I'm also going in with the Makartt brush that came in one of my polygel kits. Okay, so when it comes to the polygel application process, you're pretty much just applying the gel and then you're patting it down to the structure that you want it to be. And when I say structure, I'm not really talking about the apex and everything, because no matter what kind of nails you do, you still need the proper foundation and structure. I do recommend getting a larger brush if you want the process to go by a little bit smoother. Now, don't get me wrong, the brushes that come in the polygel kits definitely get the job done, but they are extremely skinny. So I like to go in with a thicker brush. I will also link the brush that I normally use in the description below. It is from Amazon. Now back to the polygel process. When I put that first original bead on, as you guys seen, I work with the cuticle area first, and this is when I put any bead on. I start working with the cuticle area because, like I said, when you're structuring your nails, you have to have that apex no matter what sort of nails you're doing. So when I start with that cuticle area, it's pretty much building my apex and building the foundation of the nail so that they can be well structured. And once I'm pleased with the look of my apex, then I don't touch it anymore. I just move on. And if I don't have enough polygel, like you can see on this nail here, instead of pulling that gel down from the apex and leveling everything out, I'm just going to go in and add more. And to save that structure of the nail we already built, I'm just going to go ahead and cure that before I add more gel. So while that nail's curing, we're just going to move on to the next nail. And watch closely because this nail is going to go a lot smoother than the first one originally did, and I'm going to tell you why. When you're working with polygel beads, the amount of polygel that you originally put on the nail matters. So something you want to keep in mind when you are doing your beads is the size of your nail and how long the nail is. I originally started with the thumb, and for that thumb size, I didn't put enough polygel, so that's why you see me having to go in with more layers of polygel, and I didn't have enough for that apex to stretch down the full length of the nail. So as you can see, when you go in with the proper amount of gel, you will have enough for that apex as well as the length of the nail. And something that I noticed when I am doing press-ons, the first nail that I do is always a little bit funky. It's like I'm a little bit rusty, so I got to get used to the motions and everything. Even though I do nails all the time, I still have to get used to the motions when I do that first nail, no matter how many sets I do. Now, to basically sum up the process of a polygel application, what you're doing is putting the gel on the nail, and then you're taking your slip solution on your brush and you're smoothing out the nail until it gets to your desired structure. Some people like their nails a little bit thinner. Other people like their nails a little bit thicker. If you know, you know. But for all nails, make sure you include that apex so that they have the proper foundation, regardless of the thickness, the shape, the size of your nails. Okay, so when I'm doing nails, I like to do the 2-bead method. Sometimes I will use the 3-bead method. It depends really on the length of the nails. But when I'm doing shorter nails, I pretty much do the 2-bead method for the most part. Just to explain what the 2-bead method is, it's pretty much when you place 1 bead down on your nail and then you go in and you do another layer. Okay, so however many beads you're putting, that is pretty much the bead method that you're using. So if you're doing 2 beads, 2-bead method. If you're doing 3 beads, 3-bead method, and so on. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, guys, when I was going in and putting my beads down for my thumb, they were way too small to begin with, so I did have to go in and layer more gel on there. So here you're just seeing me fill in those gaps with more gel so that everything can be leveled out. And that's also something you want to keep in mind. You have to be extremely mindful of the size of the beads you're putting down, especially when you're considering the amount of beads you want to work with your method. So if you're looking into doing the 1-bead method, you want your bead to be a lot thicker. And if you're looking into doing something more like a 3-bead method, you're going to have to do your beads a lot thinner so that your nails don't come out as thick. Now, when you're working with polygel, it's very likely that there may come a time where you may get a little hair or a dust or some type of debris in your gel. So when that happens, do not cure it. Do not keep trying to work over it or nothing like that. Take something sharp and scoop it out. Once you get whatever it is out of the nail, you're basically going to go over with that slip solution and smooth it all out. And y'all, I cannot stress enough how important slip solution is when you're using polygel. Well, first of all, it's obviously a requirement when doing polygel. It's pretty impossible to do your polygel set without some type of slip solution, because if you're working with the brush on top of just the gel, then it's going to be very sticky and you're not going to be able to smooth anything out because it's just going to be sticking to the brush. So if there comes a time where your gel just won't stop sticking to your brush, either A, you need more slip solution, or B, you need to clean your brush off. Now, when you're working over the polygel with a brush full of polygel, it's just not going to work. Polygel loves to stick to polygel, okay? So when you are dealing with a brush that is full of polygel, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be sticking. It's going to be messing up your application, and it's going to be doing everything you really don't want it to do. So when you notice your brush has polygel in it, you just want to take that slip solution, fill your brush with it, and then take a napkin and basically pull that gel out of the brush. And if you guys want to see what I'm talking about in depth, I do have a video on my TikTok. I will link it below. So yes, guys, when it comes to that slip solution, it is going to be your best friend. And not only that, another thing that I want to mention, pressure. Pay attention to the pressure that you're applying on these nails. Light-handed pressure is going to be your best friend when it comes to the pressure, baby. Do not come in these nails trying to be all heavy-handed, because you are just going to be pushing that gel down. This is something that you have to be extremely light with and extremely caring with, okay? You have to be extremely intentional when it comes to doing polygel nails, because you are the creator of the shape. It's not going to shape itself. You are the one who's making it into what it is, guys. It's not like acrylic and it doesn't just self-level, okay? This isn't something that just falls down the nail. You have to shape it down the nail, babe. And just a disclaimer, guys, I'm not saying when it comes to acrylic you don't have to shape that as well, but acrylic does settle on its own and it does smooth out imperfections a lot easier than polygel does. When it comes to polygel, you're having to do a lot more of the work when it comes to smoothing everything out and getting everything to where you want it to go. Because even though polygel is an acrylic hybrid, it's still made from completely different ingredients. So they do have their similarities when you're working with them, but they also have their differences as well. So like I was saying, when I do shorter nails, I love to use the 2 bead method because I kind of like my nails to be on the thicker side. When I'm doing them for other people, I will do them thinner if that's what they prefer. But normally I do the 2 bead method when I'm doing my shorter nails. So you're just going to see me go in and do each nail with 1 bead first. And then you're going to see me cure it and then move on to the next nail while that nail is curing. And I'll be doing that each of these nails until they all have 2 beads. So like I was saying, I personally feel like the only things that you really need to focus on when you're doing polygel nails is the pressure you're applying, the amount of slip solution you have, and the structure that you're building. Other than that, when it comes to polygel, I feel like you have so much more freedom just because you're not having to really worry about any powder to liquid ratios or anything like that. You're really just working with the gel and you're really structuring it to your liking until you cure it.
On this flight, man. Told the pilot ain't no flight plans. Can't believe whatever I'm saying. And they know whenever I land. Yeah, 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 yeah. Heartbreak hotel. This can't take no L's. Blow like AOL. Said that I ain't gon' sell. And it ain't just sell. She said I got it, nigga. I said I ain't gon' tell. 500 pounds, so it ain't no scale. I'm sick of the drink. Flipping the pain. Flipping the grain. Flipping the tank. My niggas gon' flame. Come with gang. Got your bitch on the plane. Spent 10 hours on this flight, man. Told the pilot ain't no flight plan. Can't believe whatever I'm saying. And they know whenever I land. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So once I finished the application on these nails, I just went in, did my shaping and everything. And once I was done with my shaping, I went in with this top coat. And as you guys know, this is the last step, guys. So that's all we have to do for these press-ons, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. I'm working on so much new content for you guys, so go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.